Hi, it's Michael and Tissie here. Today is day 16. Get ready to rumble. And this has kind of been a fight thing for the past couple of days because day 14, we asked you to pick a fight, okay? Decide as a couple a conflict that maybe has been reoccurring for the past few months, past few years. And then yesterday, day 15, we asked you to come up with fight rules. Today, day 16, get ready to rumble. And this is really just a practice round to help you start identifying ways to operate differently in your reclaimed self as you engage in conflict. Okay, that's really the goal. There's not really any purpose to come up with a solution to the conflict. Today is really about just practicing operating from your reclaimed self. And we want to revisit the conflict that we experienced in our marriage, and that was finances. When I called the budget meeting, right? And Tissie used to break down emotionally, and I would just feel like at a loss, not know what to do, and feel really stuck with our finances. What seemed to be just simple decisions that need to be made got blown out of proportion. And Tissie wanted to share a little bit with you a different perspective on what really was going on during that conflict.
When we talk about conflict, a lot of time there really is going to be a conflict. But I realize when it comes to us in talking about the budget meeting, the budget really wasn't the conflict. I didn't really have a problem with where we were spending the money or anything. The problem in the conflict was how it made me feel when we went to talk about it. The insecurities that popped up, the lies that popped up, the ways I used to revert back to. And so when I was able to step outside of that and realize that's what was going on, things changed. I'm telling you, it was a process though, and it only happened little by little. So the conflict with us really wasn't the budget. The conflict was the way it made me feel inside. And so
the budget was really just a trigger.
It was a trigger. It triggered me, and then I would go into this cycle of the emotions. Remember I talked about the ways I coped? One of them was I would become super emotional, or I would get busy. When we talked about money, I just got super emotional. And so I would get triggered, and I would just start this downward cycle.
And remember, my greatest fear, my greatest false belief was the fear of failure. So you can see how I felt as a husband because I wasn't able to at least have a knowledgeable or a peaceful, a decent conversation about our family's money with our wife. I felt like a failure there. Why can't this just get done? What am I doing wrong? Why can't this just work? And so again, it wasn't necessarily the finances or the budget meeting. It was really a trigger that initiated or stirred up those negative feelings, those false beliefs, and those destructive behaviors. And it really wasn't until we started operating in truth in our reclaimed self that the budget meeting really didn't become an issue.
Yeah.
And now it's not. We talk about money, it's no big deal. We still follow some of the similar parameters. Tissie and I define a good time for both of us because we do have 3 kids. We run them around town all the time. There's basketball games, there's band concerts, there's this, there's that. So when we do talk about finances, we're very intentional in setting aside a time that is good for us. And we have some time just to ourselves where we can really just focus on talking about finances. And so for today's challenge, we want you to practice living from your reclaimed self, operating from your reclaimed self as you engage in the conflict you defined in day 14. And remember, it's not about finding a solution, it's about practicing and exercising how to live in truth and operate in truth. We wish you well. It's gonna be good. Take this just as a practice round, okay? Don't get too serious about it. Remember, you are a reclaimist.